Hello and welcome along to this breakdown of cable and fiber. Going to start off with cable, going to start off with the monthly chart. Going to break it down from the higher time frames down into the lower time frames and just give you an idea of my sort of analysis. We're going to start off with the monthly chart. We have this resistance. So nice level to start off with. We also have this huge downtrend. So really getting my bias from the higher time frame levels. I want to be trading at market extremes, and what I mean by that is, this level, once it hits this level and we get the reaction, we get a bearish engulfing candle. We also want to be trading around swing points or areas where we sold off heavily before. So we sold off heavily from here, sold off heavily from here, and if we circle these, you can see that we're at this level again. So just looking for some downside. It doesn't have to be holding for a long period of time, just getting my bias from the higher time frames. Let's go down to the weekly, see what we can see. Well, we have support and resistance, resistance, and resistance. We have support. So we're in this little range. Apart from when we got out, we had a little deviation here, but most of the trading's been in this range. So deviation here, and we've just stayed within this range. We're at the upper tier of this range, so we have this market structure and we have this resistance level. If we go down into the daily, we can start to look for a little bit of structure on the daily and look at price action. Let's see what it's doing. So we've made a higher high, and then we've broke structure on the lower time frames and retested this support and resistance. And as long as we stay below there, I'll be looking for selling opportunities. Also broke this little structure as well, so everything's pointing to the downside for me, unless we start breaking above here. Then the next level for me would be obviously the next area of resistance, but at the moment, from the monthly and the weekly, I want to be looking for selling opportunities. Now my trigger time frame is usually the hourly, so I like to look for structure coming up into these levels. So even if we take this for example, and I don't trade trend lines, I just use them for structure. So you can see the support, a little bit of a deviation, but once we break down, that was the catalyst to push lower. So I'm looking for structure coming up into the level. We have support here. We broke structure and we'll come back to retest it at this higher time frame level. So let's zoom in and have a closer look at that structure. Support here, support, and we breached and we have resistance here. So also got a nice little pullback. Let's breach and pull back. So I'm looking for a break of that, and I'm looking for a break of Monday's low. Let me just tidy that up for you. You can see once we broke above Monday's low, it acted as a pivot to move this higher. So all I'm waiting for is a break of structure, break below Monday's low, and look to get involved that way. We also have a little gap to fill in down here, so that will be around the first target. So if pound does decide to move south, then I'm in a good place to get involved with that trade. We can also see that, we failed to make a higher high, and if we break down, market structure will have changed, and we've got a lot of confluence and a lot of backing behind our bearish idea. So let's move on to EurUsd. Quite similar to pound, we have structure on the monthly, resistance. We've also hit this resistance as well. Support and resistance is not as nice as on cable, and that's why I prefer it. But if we go down into the daily, zoom in, you can see this channel that we've been trading in, and it doesn't have to be perfect, it's just something to note what price has been doing. Failure to make a higher high, and we broke and made new lows. We're getting this structure pullback into this structure, so I'll be looking for selling opportunities in EurUsd. We also, if we go down into the H1, follow structure, what is taking us up into them levels. We have support here, support here, support and support. We'll draw in Monday's low. Which is down here. Looking for a clean break of this structure. Yes, we have a little raid of it, but that's not a clean break. Clean break of this structure. Failure to make higher high. Break below Monday's low. Should send this lower. As you can see, we have support here and support here. That should be support, should turn to resistance, and hopefully with all the backing behind us from the higher time frames, we can find structure in the lower time frames and get involved that way. So that was just a quick breakdown of pound and euro and what I'm looking for, and if the trade presents itself, then I know I've got the full backing of the higher time frames and a good foundation to take my trades off.